Dirty hoe. I don't give a fuck. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I had to start this show over. How is everybody doing? Hold on. This beautiful morning. Happy Juneteenth. Hey Susan, how you doing? Okay. So this is how this is going down today with the April Showers Network, in my opinion, and how I feel. I am respectful of everybody's opinion. Even if I don't like what you say, I still respect you. I do not get mad, because everybody is still somebody. First, I want to say Arnold Schwarzenegger was on The View yesterday. And he was a hero. The View, I have gotten away from The View. Those ladies hate President-elect Donald Trump so much that he is trying to get rid of illegal immigrants that came over here, undocumented immigrants that have been over here in the United States of America for 20 to 30 years. I ain't trying to hear nothing about the system or nothing. You don't get your paperwork in order. You don't do what it takes to be over here, then you should not be over here. Most of these people, hello, Butter Roll, most of these illegals that have come from Mexico committed crimes over there in Mexico 20 to 30 years ago. They fled to the United States of America. They was never held by the Mexican government. They were, let me see, they were never held accountable for their charges because they fled to the United States of America. They all lived in one house. They were undocumented. They were getting paid under the table. This is how they were able to build up their communities and grow. That's my opinion, my story, the way I see it. That's how I feel, how these illegals have played the system. Now, just to refresh y'all memory, okay? The Latinos voted for President Trump. The Latino people, because they were sick of seeing this. They came over here, they did the right thing. It don't take 20 or 30 years to get your affairs in order, okay? All of them people you saw crying on TV, especially one here, crying on Chicago News, her father had allegedly unalived somebody in Mexico 30 years ago, came over here, and has been over here for 30 years. Send them all back. Let Mexico deal with their criminals. But no, y'all want to be out here. You want me to jump on a bandwagon for people that can't get their paperwork together, that are illegals, that have hijacked the civil rights movement. Y'all want me to get on board and protest for these people, and I haven't gotten reparations. I was not able to get things for free. I was not able to come over here and work for free, undocumented, get paid cash, be able to send money to family out of state, pocket that money, help the people I'm living with. They have played the American system for all of these years. Now, this is my opinion. This is the way I see it. I respect your opinion and your viewpoints. If you don't agree, that's okay. But you are out here moving heaven and earth, trying to move heaven and earth for illegals, but you want people that's been in the United States of America, you want them to go to jail, stay in jail for the rest of their life. They criminals, they this and they that. Make it make sense. Again, I'm only speaking on illegals and undocumented. You know, these people were given money and everything. I am a descendant of God I don't even know. Some try to say slaves come from Africa. Some try to say slaves was here. I ain't never got no reparations for my people, for Black people and the Indians building this country. We ain't never got it down. Ain't nobody fault for us to get reparations because we built this country, but you want me to be standing up there fighting for some people that come over here. Some of them are criminals and some of them are not. They might get a few people that's innocent that shouldn't go back, but hey, that's just the way it is, right? Ain't that what they tell us? You know, all black women, we just welfare queens. All men of color, they just dope dealers and everything. We've been stereotyped. Again, these are just my views and opinions on how I feel like illegal immigrants and undocumented immigrants have played the American system. They've done crimes over there in Mexico. They ran over here. They've been over here 20 and 30 years. The ones I know that have lived here, some of them in Joliet, you get into a car accident or they do something, you can't find them, they done fled back to Mexico, okay? That's just my opinion on how I see it with the illegals. And I don't want nobody talking about this system, the paperwork. Baby, if I don't go pay my speeding ticket, if I don't fill my paperwork out on time, I'm not going to get my food stamps. If I don't fill out paperwork, if I don't go report to jury duty, if I miss a court date, they putting a warrant out. So stop making excuses. Like I say, I feel as though most of you people are such hypocrites. Like I can't even begin to deal with people anymore. And again, I don't care who comes over here, do it the right way. Do it the right way. Now, I'm going to share some videos because the women on The View, in my opinion, they hate Donald Trump so much that he's actually trying to rid this country of all of the illegals, the undocumented, the criminals. But y'all not fighting with us. Y'all talking about this our fight. Ain't nobody fought with us about us getting reparations for building this country. But I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not mad at nobody because I done made it. I'm just, and I like Mexicans. I've gone to quinceañeras and whatever, them sweet 16, the things. Good friends. I don't have anything against anybody, but just do it the right way. And I'm just speaking my opinion on how I see things. Y'all speak y'all opinion on how you speak things, on how you see things. And if you are an immigrant and you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't agree with, the way y'all thought, because I was a black woman, I was going to be a welfare queen. The stereotypes. I don't like the fact that y'all out here fighting for illegal immigrants and black people are still considered 3/5 of a human being in the Constitution. Make that make sense. But anyway, back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, my hero, the Terminator and everything else. But yesterday, he gave them cackling hens on the View a taste of medicine. So let's listen.
I'm with Alex Stein. Alex, it is great to see you. My goodness, Whoopi Goldberg on The View. You know, we're used to some pretty anti-America content coming from her, but apparently life in America is just as bad as it is in Iran.
Well, it just shows you how hypocritical it is, because when her co-host asked her about, the LGBTQ community in Iran and how terrible they would be treated, of course, now Whoopi has to act like she's a victim. So it's just common practice that Whoopi Goldberg and all of the women on The View have to be the biggest victim, because that's how they basically trade. That's their currency, who can be the bigger victim and who can have more people feel sorry for them. So seeing Whoopi Goldberg do this and compare her plight to what's going on in Iran, I'm not shocked whatsoever. And the women at The View, they give us some of the best content accidentally. So I really appreciate her always going and giving us great sound bites like that.
Yeah, always seeing the silver lining there, Alex. But she's rightfully getting backlash from her idiotic comments as we speak, really. But it hasn't been a good week for the hosts on The View. Earlier in the week, they brought on Hollywood star Arnold Schwarzenegger, where the hosts asked him if he had a visceral reaction to watching the ICE raids. And his answer was absolutely brilliant.
But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, So you got to do things legal.
Okay, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger telling people that they have to do it legal. I'm going to show another video.
More confident in myself and the things that I take part in on a daily basis. I feel much more confident even going to
gratitude for our civilization. That seems like that should be something that is sort of de rigueur. It is required if you're going to be a member of our civilization. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been a long time member of the United States. He immigrated to the United States in 1968. He was a bodybuilder at the time, became one of the most famous actors in America. Then he became the governor of California. And he appeared on The View yesterday. And it got very awkward for the ladies of The View because they asked him about immigration and about President Trump. And he started saying things that are politically incorrect about immigration. It's something that if you immigrated in 1968 to the United States, as Arnold did, you sort of took for granted, like be grateful for the place where you live. Imbibe the values of the place where you live. Understand those values and engage with those values. Here's Arnold Schwarzenegger. One is what Arnold is saying, and people start clapping for it because it's obviously true. And the other is that about halfway through this clip, Sonny Hostin reaches over and tries to stop Arnold from saying what he's saying. And so, what's happening here is the sort of Sonny Hostin position in trying to stop Arnold Schwarzenegger from saying what he is saying. That is mirrored by a lot of the domestic-born Americans who are trying to help out people who really don't like the country very much. And both of these things are quite important because the truth is that the West has, in fact, imported an extraordinary number of people who hate our civilization, who do not like our values, who do not like biblical values or Western values or anything like it. One of those people currently sits in Congress. This would be Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota. So I was curious about the difference between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ilhan Omar in terms of when they actually immigrated to the United States. So, of course, I went to my sponsors, my friends over Perplexity, and I asked, when did Schwarzenegger immigrate to America and when did Ilhan Omar immigrate to America? Schwarzenegger immigrated to the United States in October 1968 at the age of 21. He moved from Austria to pursue opportunities in bodybuilding, arriving in the U.S. with limited English skills and quickly establishing himself in the bodybuilding community in L.A. It's a difference in era. Ilhan Omar immigrated to the United States in 1995 after fleeing the civil war in Somalia and then spending 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya. In 1968, if you came to the United States, you were expected, like you had been for the vast majority of American history, to actually assimilate to American values. It doesn't mean give up your home religion or your home foods. It does mean that you had to take in, imbibe from the well of American constitutional values, for Anglo-American values. These were things that you were supposed to engage with. And then something changed in America. And it turned out that if you came here, you could be an ungrateful harridan, which is precisely what Ilhan Omar is. She comes to the United States as a refugee from one of the worst places on earth, simply to explain to the Americans about how we are, in fact, becoming the worst place on earth. So here's Representative Ilhan Omar, who has yet to identify an Islamist terror group that she does not have some sympathy for, talking about how America is actually the worst place on earth, or one of them.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president's spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade.
Okay, so we're becoming one of the worst places on earth, according to a woman who came from Samar. Of course, there's not much about traditional American values that she does like. She is constantly sounding off about the evils of American colonialism, American capitalism. A group of people have been brought to our shores over the course of the last 50, 60 years who really despise the country. And that is one half of the equation, not immigrants like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who came here to, as he says, become part of the civilization, to enjoy the fruits of it and to give something back, but who came here in order to complain about how terrible our civilization is and to change it from within. That is one half of one of the big problems with the United States right now. And the other part of this is people like Sonny Hostin sitting next to Arnold Schwarzenegger and telling him not to say the unsayable. And also legislators like Sonny Hostin, people like Brad Lander. So Brad Lander, you never heard of. Brad Lander is the New York City comptroller. He is a candidate for mayor, and he is desperate for attention. Desperate for attention, because the entire Democratic Party at this point being prone before the Republican Party. The only way they feel they can get ahead is through attention-seeking behavior. That is the entire shtick right now. So Brad Lander just got himself arrested on Tuesday by federal agents. Why? Well, he went to an immigration courthouse in Lower Manhattan as he tried to escort a migrant whom agents were seeking to arrest. So he was observing proceedings at a city's main immigration courthouse, and a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security said Lander had assaulted and impeded a law enforcement officer. Apparently, Lander was standing by a migrant man in a hallway on the 12th floor when several men in plainclothes, who appear to be law enforcement officers, some wearing masks, pushed past a crowd in the hallway to arrest the migrant. Lander asked the agents whether they have a judicial warrant and then refuses to let go of the migrant as the agents seek to shepherd the man toward the elevators. And Lander continues to grab the migrant. He says, "You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens." But apparently this person is not, in fact, a U.S. citizen. He said, I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant. Here is the video.
You have a judicial warrant.
Now, there's only one problem here. He is legally wrong, by the way. Agents don't actually need judicial warrants to make arrests in immigration courts because those are public spaces, according to immigration lawyers. Lander was then arrested for several hours, and then he was released publicly. And then he said, don't worry, well, it wasn't a premeditated publicity stunt. Well, yes, it certainly was. And again, it goes to this attitude in the United States by many that we ought to be actively facilitating the law breaking of people who come here and don't respect our laws. That is the Joy Behar comparison. The people who stand, the good Americans who stand in the way of people saying, hey, maybe you ought to follow the law in the United States. Maybe this performative nonsense actually makes the country a worse place. And this is what the Democratic Party has decided is going to be its form of resistance right now. So there are no King's rallies were a gigantic fail. They're trying to claim that millions of people showed up. I kind of doubt it. They're claiming it was the single biggest 50-state rally in the United. Did you notice one of these No Kings rallies over the weekend? Unless you were in like Washington, D.C., New York, or L.A. I really doubt it.
Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.
Hey, two buddies, it is game time. Out of these two thumbnails, one of them scored 40% more clicks than the other. Can you guess which one? For many creators, the hardest part about creating content is not even the video editing and upload process, but instead...
So, hey, peace, how you doing? And don't think I haven't forgotten about it. I've had so much stuff. Okay, it's like I'm going through a tsunami right now. Please do not ever think that I've forgotten about you. So, people hate Donald Trump so much that you would rather them not sit back. Illegal migrants that have come over here, mostly, and we just gonna keep this 100% real, they have kept it. I'm gonna keep it 100. We know most of the people that committed crimes 30 years ago that came over here, you know, they fled from being prosecuted in Mexico, and they came over here, okay, set up camp over here, never documented themselves, had kids and families, because there is several cases in Chicago where these men, where their kids and grandkids are crying because they're sending these people back. They unalive people over in Mexico 20 and 30 years ago, and they never was held accountable for their crimes. Then they've committed crimes over here and fled back to Mexico. Then they come back in a whole nother state, undocumented. They all live in a house, half of them illegals, undocumented, getting paid cash money under the table, sending it back, and building up their community, buying up houses. And we have not received reparations. Again, this is my opinion on how I see how they have played the American system for all of these years. That's how I see a lot of the illegals have played the system for years. Okay? And don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. I mean, I'm 63. Okay? I ain't moved by nothing no more. I'm calling stuff the way I see it. And that's not to take away from the good people that have come over here and done it the right way. I'm only talking about the illegals and undocumented. They received money. I never got reparations. My people built this country, okay? What nobody, don't tell me that I need to be out here protesting for some people. Ain't nobody protested for me to get no reparations. Now we're going to keep this 100. Who done protested for black people, people of color, who built this country to get reparations? But you want me to get out here and fight for some people that's the, criminals from another country. Make it make sense. If the shoe don't fit, you don't wear it. But obviously, if you get upset, the shoe must fit. And again, I'm going to say this. President-elect Donald Trump won by the Latino voters, okay? The people that was tired of them playing with the system, the people that's doing things the right way. But y'all out here protesting, go protest for why black people are still considered 3/5 of a human being. They were so mad at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he said, he came over here, he did the right thing. I don't want to hear nothing about no 20 years, the paperwork, it's the system, it's to divide us. Most of them played on the American system, got what they needed to get ahead, and yet I have not gotten nothing for my ancestors building this country. Y'all want people, y'all want to protect criminals over here, but the people that live in the United States of America, you want them to go to prison, lock them up, throw away the key. Make this make sense. Again, this is just my opinion. And we're going to look at another, let's look at something else. Hold on. I gotta press share screen. Hold on. Like I say, you can't make this especially these ladies of the View. You know, Sonny Hoskins was trying to nudge Arnold Schwarzenegger from telling migrants to be grateful to the United States. They ought to be grateful. They came over here. They got free everything. Everything. Everybody has hijacked the civil rights movement. So the Daily Mail, they say hilarious moment. The View, Sonny Hoskins tried and failed to interrupt Arnold Schwarzenegger as he spoke on the daytime talk show about how migrants should treat the U.S. when they arrive. Hoskins, 56, tried to interrupt Schwarzenegger not once but twice during Tuesday episode, and the actor and former California government explained how he felt about the anti-ICE riots occurring in Los Angeles. Co-host Joy Behar reminded Schwarzenegger how he was once an immigrant of the country. And he went on and told him, I just think the world of history of immigrants in America, we need to do things legal. Hoskins then tried to speak over the star a week after claiming that 2/3 of Americans polled in January survey supported deportation of undocumented migrants simply due to their own misunderstanding. Arnold Schwarzenegger steady saying, you got to do things legal. Now, Sonny, you need to worry about Puerto Rico like you was. But they hate Trump. They hate Trump so much. Arnold Schwarzenegger kept saying you got to do things legal the right way. Get your paperwork done. Them women, they done lost their rabbit, and they ain't smarter than the 5th grade of mine. I don't like everything every president done did. I'm one of these. Don't talk about none of them. I don't want to hear what Trump doing, what he done bad, what he done, and they all done committed some type when they was in. Hold on.
take.
That was a phenomenal
I love
take.
that.
Did you see Sonny touch his arm? She's trying to
Yeah,
get him to
bro.
stop.
Yeah, bro. They just peep the body language.
It was like, whoa.
They don't want to hear this.
They didn't want to
guys.
hear that. You know, I think they think since he was the governor of California for so long, they thought he was gonna come and say something super liberal.
Yeah.
But he didn't, because he was probably a public servant before everything got super corrupt. You know, he's an immigrant. You know, was he from Austria?
I don't know.
This guy's one of the biggest stars in American movie history.
Yeah.
And so obviously he understands, as he spoke, what it means to immigrate to America and see what it can do for you and pour back into that, you know? So who's a better messenger for this message? You know what I'm saying? Like,
nobody.
His children are successful. His son is an actor.
Wow.
He got multiple kids. I know his son Patrick is an actor, living the dream right now. What has America done for this guy? You know?
Actually, no, I woke up this morning and when I put my daughter in the car on the way to daycare, and I was like, damn, some country's finna go to war right now. And I just got lucky to just be in America.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy to really think about.
Hey man, we blessed to be in America. We blessed
so
to be
blessed.
free. This is one of the places where you can be born poor and change that whole situation off opportunity, off of what you put into this life.
Yeah, keep grilling that.
The crime of being abusive is something important thing.
No. Keep going. Look, watch Sunny
you
Hand.
gotta
Watch
do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and they're the foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come
Y'all got grilled. Y'all wasn't ready
And
for that.
it's interesting that we know that Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the greatest immigrants in American history. As he went on to say, he was one of the greatest bodybuilders ever, one of the greatest movie stars ever, went on to become a governor.
Wow.
As I told you.
Moved here at 21 with nothing.
From Austria, nothing.
Accolades are crazy.
Millions of dollars, successful life, public servant. Like, we have to really look at this.
That's a good guy right
This
there.
guy is the greatest spokesperson for immigrants, and they're trying to correct him. He came here at 21 with nothing.
Oh, but they're not all.
He didn't feed into their bullshit logic because he understands it is bullshit. He said these immigrants coming here illegally are not smart. You're not behaving like a guest. You're behaving like you belong here. You're behaving like we owe you something. Like we owe you the right to stay in our country. You came here illegally.
He had to break it down to him like a house.
He tried to give it to him in the nicest way possible. He was like,
it's in a home.
They said, what do you think? Does it, what did she say? How does it?
She said, do you have a visceral reaction to seeing people
reaction.
being...
The definition of that, isn't that throwing up type?
Visceral is like a extreme reaction.
Right, like, oh!
Yeah.
No, he said, long
They're
story
not
short,
smart.
they need to behave better, and no, I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
That was beautiful.
I mean, it's a fact. I mean, this is the greatest spokesperson for immigration and what you can become as an immigrant out of any immigrant ever.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
No, he is successful.
She's a disgrace.
That is
Ilhan Omar is an example of what disgracefulness looks like. She disrespects our country. She disrespects what it means to be an immigrant. Like, how dare you say this place is the worst country on earth?
Man,
how
that's
dare
a great
you?
guy, man. He has some insane accolades. I didn't know he was a bodybuilder also.
What?
Hey, bro.
I knew he was a bodybuilder.
What?
I knew he was a bodybuilder.
You didn't know Arnold Schwarzenegger was a bodybuilder?
I couldn't name you a bodybuilder.
That's insane. That's
I couldn't
insane.
name you not one a bodybuilder.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the best bodybuilders
So
ever.
he was a bodybuilder, a governor, and an insane actor.
He's
Wow.
one
That's
of
crazy.
the best bodybuilders of all time.
He might be the best immigrant go down.
I feel like he's like.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said that.
Ever.
I ain't gonna lie. People still, like, to this day, like, he has lifts that people do, like in the gym. Arnold Schwarzenegger curls. Arnold Schwarzenegger rolls.
Damn.
But if you notice, bro, legal immigrants all say the same things, bro, about America, how they feel about America, and their attitude towards this stuff because they know. They know what it could be like. Perspective is a very interesting thing.
And it's like the ones that's bought and paid for, like Ilhan Omar, that's not siding with regular immigrants basically side with.
I'm telling you, most immigrants, that's why, look, I'm not trying to sit here and be stereotypical, but what are Mexicans known for?
Cooking.
They be working hard. That's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
So, like, the legal immigrant Mexicans that are here, they are working hard. And that's why 46% of Mexican men voted for Trump.
Because they understand what it's not even just Mexican, it's Latinos. Because, like, I've seen liberals away from what it means to be an immigrant, if you ask me.
Remember,
like,
we was in the neighborhood. The Cuban guy stopped us, and we said, we don't know. It's around election season. We don't think we should take a picture.
Yeah.
Ask him to take a picture of us.
He's like, I
was
love you guys.
I'm a Cuban, bro. I love you guys. We was like, oh shit.
He knew us.
And it's interesting though. Like, do I think all illegal immigrants are wrong and bad people? Not at all.
No.
I've never once said that. I don't think so. But I think you're cutting the line because we went to college with thousands of friends. Well, I won't say thousands, but we had teammates and friends that were on visas. They understood what it meant to come to America and that they were here as a guest, scrambling to get jobs. If they mess up once, they getting sent home.
Yeah.
And we got people here cutting the line to game the system. I mean, I can't support that, bro. Like, you being ripped away from your families and all that's very sad, yes. But when you commit a crime and the police come get you, you getting ripped away from your family regardless.
And remember, he said he traveled on a boat over here. A boat. And he still vote Trump.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I met a guy at church the other day, bro. He watches us too, actually. It's crazy. Nigerian dude moved here when he was 18. He works in a biomedical lab, bro. All his brothers and sisters here have great jobs. They all came here straight because of school. He got a master's degrees, multiple. I'm like, bruh, it's just like, it's a perspective, bro. Perspective it's everything. It's very big.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Last thing I'm gonna say, same thing like how white liberals try to tell black people how they should feel. This is the exact same thing, there. He's an immigrant. How are y'all gonna tell him how to feel? How are y'all gonna tell immigrants how they should feel?
Yeah.
Y'all are in that situation, and immigrants are still a lot of immigrants are still voting Trump.
This is one of the greatest living people. We got Terminator.
I wonder, not just Mexican. I wonder all immigrants vote for Trump more than black people?
I wonder,
right now,
more than black people?
All of them.
I would say yes.
Right now,
because black people are the most loyal soldiers of the Democratic Party.
That's why they have nothing. They
no other race will disown you and say you are not a part of us if you do not vote how we vote.
If you don't think how we think, behave how we behave.
The Mexicans don't even do that.
Yeah, they don't.
Wow. Let us know what y'all think in the comments, though, guys. He cooked them. They weren't ready for this.
I've been trying to configure.
I love them boys. Or those young, handsome men. Those young, handsome men. But as I say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he killed those women on The View. Legal. Like I say, you got folks, they ready to kill on the live. Throw hands on you over these immigrants. And they only doing it because they hate Trump so much. And Trump is trying to do something right. There needs to be a reform, like he said. And I don't want to hear nothing. Y'all, these people, they going so hard for them. But y'all not even going for your own people. You're not going for police brutality. You're not going for affordable housing. What would make me be a proud American woman is when I see all races of people come together and protest for us building this country and getting reparations. But that's not going to happen because we so divided. Our whole messed up way of thinking, y'all, we can't even come together and have a meeting. We don't respect everybody's opinion. We got selective outrage. It's a lot of stuff that our race, we have put on ourselves by not addressing a lot of stuff that happens in the homes, the community, the churches. But unfortunately for us, we can't get it together and ain't nobody fighting for us to get reparations. But you got people that's out here fighting for the rights to be legal. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. It is the truth. And, all of those women on The View have lost their minds. They're not smarter than a fifth grader. They hate Trump so much. They get selective outrage. Whoopi want to say as a black, she feel like she's living in Iran. They get selective outrage. They don't stay consistent. But you want You want people of color in the United States locked up, throw away the key, but you want immigrants, illegal immigrants that's been committed crimes. You fighting for them to stay over here, use our taxpayer money to defend these people. Like I say, the United States of America, you know, everything they set out to do to keep us divided and separated. And, you know, it's all working. It's all working. You know, nobody's coming to save us, but they want us. They have people telling us that this is our fight. And this ain't our fight, because ain't nobody fighting for us to get reparations. Ain't nobody fighting for us to be considered 3/5 of human beings. We are citizens of the United States of America. Some of y'all out here fighting for the rights of illegals, but won't get out here and fight on prison reform. They thought they was going to hem up a guy because he was an immigrant. They thought he was going to blast Donald Trump. That's what they thought. And it didn't happen. You know, it's ice all over in LA. They coming to Chicago. Get them out here.
Remember when you were the governor and everything was pretty good? Everybody seemed pretty happy back then, huh?
Well, I mean, no matter where I go,
people are happy?
I bring happiness.
You do.
That's my job. I'm a positive person, and I always try to kind of fix things. But I think that what you're referring to is, of course, the protests that are going on
everything
in LA.
that's going on.
I totally agree with you, by the way, Jimmy, because they make it out to like it is a war zone, the whole Los Angeles, the whole city or the county. And the fact of the matter is it's maybe like 0.001% of the area of Los Angeles has problems, and there's a protest.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is important for people to know, because I don't want all of a sudden tourism to suffer in Los Angeles because what they see on television, because the media sometimes shows it as if the whole Los Angeles is a big war zone, which is not really the case.
No, none of Los Angeles is a war zone.
But this wouldn't happen if the politicians would do the work. Think about it.
Now, what do you mean by that exactly? What do you mean by
that?
that?
For decades, almost 4 decades, we have had a problem where they talked about immigration reform, comprehensive immigration reform. But the Democrats and the Republicans, both of the parties, have no interest in solving this problem because they use that to raise money. And so what they do is they just keep pointing the finger at each other, and then they're surprised if all of a sudden we are using our middle finger on them, right? But I mean, it's all bogus, because I think that we can do better than that. Democrats and Republicans, and you know, when they talk about Democrats and Republicans, even though I'm a Republican, I tell you, it is sometimes disappointing. And then I think even just when you look at the symbols of the party, think about that. I mean, the Democrats, donkey, Republicans, elephant. And the donkey is a jackass. And of course, wherever the big animal goes, leaves a pile of dump, right? I mean, so the symbols say it all.
Yeah.
And I just get very frustrated because we send those politicians to Washington to solve the problems, and all they are is instead of public servants, they're party servants. And I think this is really the bad thing about it, you know. So it's just I think there should be public servants.
I'm sure there's a huge amount of truth to that. First of all, I love having you here tonight because I think that you're a person who is trusted on both sides, and that's very rare.
Entertainment industry if I hadn't taken a few risks, but I'm also a realist because I
screw your freedom. Ow, ow, get down. Ow. So, from what I hear is they kind of try to steer him a specific way by asking him about immigration, and he goes another way. So let's check this out.
Do long hours and limited control over your career as an NP or PA leave you frustrated, craving more flexibility? And
right.
When you come to America,
That's right, Arnold. Do things legally. That's it. That's it. I always relate to the whole do it the legal way thing growing up as a poor black kid because so many guys that I knew were doing things illegally. And they were literally in almost identical situations to myself. They did not have to steal those things. They did not have to sell those drugs. They did not have to do any of those things that landed them in jail, juvie, or prison, but they chose to. And I chose to do things legally. And I think it turned out just fine. So, yeah. Do things legally. Do things legally. Come on. Do it the legal way. Get down.
You're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest.
That's right. So that means don't go into nobody other person's house showing your ass. Okay? That's what it means to behave as a guest. You don't live here. You don't run nothing here. So you can't come up into my house making demands and doing this and doing that like you running things. Act like a guest so you don't get kicked out or you don't have the police called on you to remove you. He's right.
I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can. Keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime.
Why is she touching him? She trying to get him this. Is she trying to get him to stop going on this rant about doing things legally? Look, I already told you in the past, especially when they're busting people in, if anyone was sold a dream and the politicians were doing things illegally and not the right way, I do feel bad about that. I do feel bad for them because they say, hey, come on over. No. We know what the normal process is, but no, just come on over. We got you. Don't worry about it. I feel bad for those people. I feel bad for the children that may have come over and didn't know, their parents were doing something illegally to get in, and then have to be deported and stuff like that. So, there's certain situations I feel bad for. However, as a whole, okay, when you make that decision to do something illegal, when a bunch of other people that live right in your country with similar circumstances are doing things the legal way and waiting in line, and you butt in line, I'm sorry, for the most part, that's wrong. And I get there may be certain desperate situations where someone maybe they just had to cross the border. I would have to hear those stories. But, and in certain situations, they're saying, hey, listen, deport yourself, but we will help bring you back legally. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like they're making things kind of easy. You show up, we'll take a flight, or deport yourself, we'll help you come back legally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. But Arnold's right. I don't disagree with nothing he's saying right now.
Being abusive.
And his entertainment.
And to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs.
Well, he did that for money, but, I kind of see where he's going. I'm sure he's giving millions to charity. Usually once you get up there and you're making that much money, you kind of have to get a tax break anyway. With certain tax breaks, there's a lot of different tax breaks you can get, but yeah.
Special Olympics or whatever it is, make this party a better place.
Arnold, don't South,
There's one chick on here that I cannot stand. And I'm not going to say she has the smuggest resting face that I've ever seen in my life. and the look is all in the eyes. I just, whenever I don't even watch the show. I only watch certain clips from time to time because she gets under my skin so much with some of the most heinous things that she says sometimes. So I don't even watch the show, but every once in a while I will watch clips where someone else is talking about something that has gone on the show or whatever. But yeah, he's right. Tell me if you disagree, and if you disagree, why? Explain. I enjoyed this. If you enjoyed my commentary and my reaction, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Now, hit the subscribe button. 10 million subscribers. Come on, press it now. Do it. 10 million subscribers. Woo!
Great content needs a great audience, like your boss needs.
So there we have it. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, do it the legal way. Like y'all out here protesting or setting up websites and expressing y'all opinion. Y'all doing y'all research, and y'all want American citizens to go to prison for their crimes, but you don't want illegal immigrants to go back and face their crimes, the ones that committed crimes. And then it should be it's a crime. You over here, you never filled out your paperwork, you just played the system. Hey, it is what it is. They wasn't ready for what Arnold gave them. Y'all want the people in the United States. Y'all want them to do things the right way, but y'all want to give illegal immigrants a pass. I mean, make this make sense. Make it make sense. And a lot of those people that have come from these other countries, the migrants, they have paid for their college education and everything. They have put monies aside. And a lot of people can't go to college because they can't afford the student loans, pay it back. So it's a whole lot of stuff wrong with this immigration system. As Arnold Schwarzenegger said, immigration reform, we need it. They give them scholarships, they come up here, they go to the best colleges, and then they want to snub the American people because they couldn't afford to go to college. They didn't want to have student loans up the behind. Some of them couldn't get grants. And so, again, the views and opinions of those expressed divine. I have nothing against any race of people. I love all people. Do things the right way. But I'm just sick of seeing the buffoonery. You hypocrites. Double-edged swords coming out your mouth. when it comes to certain things. You want an American citizen thrown in jail? But you want an immigrant to be able to stay over here, especially the criminals. Ooh, boy. It's a lot to taking in. It's a lot. Arnold Schwarzenegger said illegal migrants protesting are disrespectful. Hold on. Protesting, illegal migrants protesting is disrespectful. They're illegal. Make that make sense. They're illegal. And they come over here and have the rights. And illegal citizens of the United States of America can't be out there protesting. They're going to send people to attack them, arrest them. Like, this can't be happening. So let's listen to this.
Everything he has to say. So let's go and see what's going on here. So apparently he's just going to weigh in on the immigration protest. Let's check it out. Uh-oh.
So you got to do things.
Look at Sonny. Look at Sonny, guys. I mean, yeah, like I understood exactly what he said the whole time, guys. Like, listen, when it comes down to immigration, I don't think the majority of people have an actual issue with the concept of immigration. I absolutely do not have a single issue with the concept of immigration, legal immigration. Obviously, I generally shouldn't have to even caveat that because, again, your first act in the United States of America should not be an illegal one. But Sonny is about to lose it. Let's go. Let's. Appreciative of exactly the experience that you are experiencing currently, right? Like, I mean, obviously if you come to the country, most likely you're coming from something that is not even on par, let's say, with what our American standard is. Now if you come here and you start to actually win, it's absolutely imperative that you kind of look back and say, you know what, listen, bro, I need to do something for the country. Right? The country took me in beautifully. I came here in a legal manner, right? And all these things, guys. I need to do something specifically to give back to the nation that's currently, coddling me. Common typical rhetoric. Yeah. I understand because again, they're illegal. So specifically, if she's referring to illegal immigrants, not legal immigrants, right? But if she's talking about illegal immigrants, yeah, why would they want to get caught? They know if they get caught, that's what's basically holding them down from doing whatever they were planning on doing, if that makes any sense, or if they were planning on doing anything in the first place. But that's not really an argument. Yeah, but unfortunately, Karen Bass, along with Gavin Newsom, hold on. The problem with that statement here, that Whoopi obviously, offered up to the ether at the end here, is that Karen Bass, along with Gavin Newsom, really have no interest in seeing illegal immigration as criminality, right? They say that being illegal is more like an infraction. The problem is what by definition is legal, right? I mean, obviously it's a civic crime, let's say, but is it still in fact a crime? Are crimes legal? Which one is it, guys? Right? I mean, obviously there's a civic and there's criminal. They're both illegal. So what game are we playing here with words here? These are word semantics, people. Okay, and that's all that it is. But Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are trying to do nothing to quell the issue here. They're trying their hardest to basically do everything humanly possible to not assist or aid in anything ICE oriented. The ICE basically were like surrounded for the most part by protesters, and what happened? It took them 2 hours, right, to do anything. 2 hours? That's the thing. Right. And you wonder why Trump then sent in the National Guard? Guys, listen, I love the fact that this man came on this show and said something. I'm going to be honest here, because how often do they actually hear anything from outside of their echo chamber? How often do they do that? Never. They only bring people that have the ability to basically agree with every single thing that they're always saying. Basically, not anymore. They used to, let's say, bring people that had varying opinions, but you know what? Listen, this is a different time we're in here. They understand that the left in general has no real ability, let's say, to hear thoughts that differ from theirs by any means. Guys, they can't. It's sad, right? Why would you want to purposely live within an echo chamber, guys? Why? Right? Like, I can watch this, listen to it, and I know all of the echo chamber responses that they were going to give, guys. Like, from the beginning of the video, I was like, why are you guys sending me the view, bro? Like, what are we supposed to be getting from this, right? Bias? Come on, guys. But all right, listen, if you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.
Hold on. So pretty much, most of the people, we don't want illegal immigrants here. We want people to do the right thing. America has its own set of problems. We're trying to keep our streets clean and safe. We don't need more problems coming over here. Again, you come over here, you should treat this country as you're a guest in somebody's house. They allowed you to come over here, but you want to come over here to this country and act a fool. There were Venezuelan gangs taking over New York and Chicago, allegedly. You had to say allegedly, but they were showing them. We got flooded with everything. Everything. We got enough problems we got to deal with. So to all of y'all that don't think the illegal protest, y'all don't think that that's disrespectful and distasteful, I can't rock with you. For all of y'all, I can rock with you because wait a minute, hold on. Because I'm not one of those type of women. I still respect you and love you. I ain't gonna get mad at you. But you fighting, arguing, getting mad at people because of their opinion on how they feel about some illegal migrants, and you want people that are United States of American citizens to go to jail throw away the key. You ain't got no sympathy for them. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. Those people came over here during the time when we're in inflation. Some people, we have a big homeless problem here already with our people because rent is at an all-time high. At one point, people was renting, it was cheaper to rent. Now you got people going in debt, buying homes because rent is so high. You got people that can't afford rent. They're homeless. We have a homeless situation here, but you let migrants come over here and you put them up in hotels, gymnasiums. They were given the best of best, okay? They were given all types of monies. Link cards, food stamp cards, and the average American citizen that's trying to make it, some of them are deciding whether they can eat or pay for their medicine. We got our own problems. Ain't nobody out there protesting. For senior citizens. Ain't nobody saying once you reach a certain age, you shouldn't even have to be paying for health care or nothing. We paid taxes. I paid taxes. I worked for 40 years. Ain't nobody saying about the little Social Security increases we get. That when we get an increase, then your food cost goes up, your co-pays go up. But y'all out here ready to knock my teeth out. Well, I don't have any teeth. I have, ready to slap me upside my face. Ready to knock people teeth off. Telling black people this is their fight too. If we not protesting, but yet you not protesting for the elderly. Why aren't you protesting for us to get a 5% increase every year? It was so many years that the elderly did not even get a raise. But you protesting for some people that came over here illegally, been over here illegally, didn't give a damn. They've been able to all live in the house, get undocumented money and everything. Make it make sense. Some of them illegals are in college right now. Free, it's paid for. They're going to become great doctors and nurses. And some people can't even go to college. Because they can't afford the rent, the student loans. They're trying to work. And then you wonder why we have so many doctors of different races. They were able to come over here and get a free education. Look it up. Do your research. Don't be mad at me. I'm just the messenger. The views and opinion expressed on this show are those of Darlene April of the April Showers Network. Again, I'm like Arnold. Just do things the right way, the legal way. I don't feel like migrants that come over here should have anything handed to them. These people are coming over here getting free educations. You got colleges sponsoring them. Well, how about go to the hood and sponsor 10 boys? How about going back to the hood and making cops play officer friendly? And making cops play officer. How about protesting for all of these racist towns that have been shown, to be racist, that have shown to have used excessive force on people that was arrested? How about making them go work in the neighborhoods for 6 months? Be a big brother. Because some of these cops have destroyed a man's life, their families. How about protesting for that? We ain't even taking care of American, United States of America issues. But we can take on other countries' issues. And these people look at us, snub us, turn their nose up at us. Some of them do. They change laws for them to be able to practice their religions, wear their garments, headpieces. We take everybody in, but the people that's living here get no respect. Only in the United States of America, I've never seen so many hypocritical people. We don't hold nobody accountable for nothing. The cycle keeps repeating itself. They have been conquering, divide and conquering us. Some of y'all don't even talk to your own family, but you out here concerned about illegal immigrants, them sending them back. You can have a family member that'll call you up and say, they just picked me up. I missed the court date because I didn't want to miss work. I needed my money because rent is so high. Y'all will talk about them, hang the phone up, won't go get them out of jail. They lose a job. But you out here fighting for illegal immigrants. Lord, make it make sense. I'm not moved by none of this stuff. This is entertainment for me. I'm sitting up here looking out the window, looking at a vicious cycle. Just keep going. I get on here, I talk my mess. I fight my own demons. And I tell my truth the way I see it. That's why I don't jump on bandwagons. It's been part of the programming to get us to jump on bandwagons, to get us to fight for their causes, but nobody fight for our causes. I want to thank all the people that joined in for this show and listened to this show. I just thank you. I try to go around and support all of the YouTubers because we are content creators at the end of the day. I go over and I listen to people that talk the complete opposite that I do. You know why? Because I respect them. I respect their opinion. We are not like everybody else. We're all individuals. We have our own brains. But when you get to become the beautiful age of 63, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be on this earth this time. You just say, oh, well, the cycle repeating itself. Folks say they won't change, but they ain't gonna do change. They ain't gonna change. Ain't nobody addressing nothing for their behavior. Ain't nobody apologizing for nothing. And they wonder why people have become distant. Don't fool with people. Some people that have seen it all, they can't rock with you people no more. This whole country needs a reset. And all of you people everybody needs a reset. We're hypocrites. We got selective outrage. We have let the media and other people use us to fit their narratives. We're slowly but surely seeing the truth. And everybody not gonna grasp it. And some people ain't gonna never grasp it. Some people will never get what Arnold Schwarzenegger was saying yesterday. Illegal immigrants protesting is disrespectful to the United States of America, and y'all think it's okay. They are illegals. They're not even legal. We're going along. We're protecting illegal criminals now because you hate President-elect Donald Trump. A new day and a new time. Hey, Pan, how are you doing, Pan? I need a link. Are you back DJing? Because I need to go back to hit your buttons. Pan, please inbox me on Facebook. At one time, you were saying about a laptop. I never heard from you. So again, this is April Showers of the April Showers Network. And Darlene April, the views and opinion expressed on this show are of mine. And I am so glad most people saw right through the cackling hens of the View who hate Donald Trump so much that they would rather be out here fighting for criminals, illegal criminals, and want people that live right here in the United States of America to go to jail and be in prison for the rest of their life. Lord, you can't make this stuff up. This is April Showers. Everybody have a great day. And thank you for joining me. Peace. Peace, love, and hair grease.